Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting episode for you guys. We want you guys to stick around for, but before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get into this particular topic here. Now, as y'all know, let's say about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, an image, a 65-year-old image of Jerry Jones resurfaced, and you saw him attending a rally where some white students were trying to block some black students from entering the school. They were trying to stop, desegregation in the educational system, I believe in Arkansas, if I'm not mistaken, in 1957. I could be wrong. I don't remember the specific date. Anyway, that image came out. And then what happened? It was brought to the attention of Stephen A. Smith on ESPN First Take. And, when they asked Stephen A. Smith to give his take on that particular image, what ended up happening was he went up there and totally, embarrassed himself by spending more time talking about the image coming out than what he saw, in the image. And of course, that drew a lot of criticism. A lot of people were like, yo, what is this? Even me, I was like, bro, what is? So everybody kind of gave their 2 cents, on that. And then after that, LeBron, asked, hey, why y'all were quick to ask me about Kyrie Irving, but then no one has asked me about this yet, which now created even more of a conversation around it. But since then, it has kind of simmered down. Then what happened? Yesterday, I saw that Vlad release an interview where he had John Salley, who's a regular. He's on the show maybe twice a year on Vlad TV, twice a year. So he was there, and he's a friend of Stephen A. Smith. So of course, Vlad asked John Salley to give his take on, Stephen A. Smith's response to that image. So what we want to do is we want to play what John Salley had to say there, and then we're going to come back and react to it. So take a listen to what he had to say here.
Stephen A. Smith actually defended Jerry Jones.
Yeah. So,
which kind of surprised me, but then again, I don't know their relationship.
I know their relationship.
What is their relationship?
This is the deal. Stephen is a good friend of mine, and he is everybody should realize he's not paid for. He believes what he believes. He does. He believes what he believes, and he has put enough money away where if they say you're fired tomorrow, Steve is cool.
Right.
Steve is like, he was like, let me stack because I'm going to say what I feel I need to say. Stephen hates the Dallas Cowboys. He's going to go against, he's the Cowboy hater, blah, 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 blah. But he needs to be that because he realizes everybody needs a nemesis. And, Mr. Jones had literally, if you go down to their practice facility, there's a whole thing of Stephen literally talking to the Cowboys fans. It's like running constantly. I stayed in the hotel. I watched it every 15 minutes just to make sure I filmed it and sent it to him. I was like, you doing it, huh? So I guess his relationship with Mr. Jones, Michael Irvin's relationship with Mr. Jones, all the players that play for Mr. Jones say something different. And maybe he was that person in the 50s and 60s. And then maybe he changed. Because everybody loves the University of Alabama, and they wouldn't let black players on the field at one time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that people don't think that he's changed in 50 years or however long it's been since that photo. But I think that him addressing it would not necessarily be a bad thing. Say, hey, listen, and I think he said that he was there, but just out of curiosity. But still, the optics of it are the optics of it. You're on the white side of a group of white young men blocking black teenagers from entering a school. You should at least say, you know something, I was wrong, and I don't support this, and I shouldn't have even been there, and I feel bad that I was even there, and what my schoolmates were standing for at that time, because I don't believe that these days.
So you heard what John Salley had to say there, right? Now, he said a few things. It wasn't very clear, but he said a few things that I want to unpack here. The first thing he said was he knows Stephen A. Smith. And he said that Stephen A. Smith has been kind of putting away money for years, right? Because in the case that maybe one day in the future he says something that may turn off a lot of people and ultimately may lead him to losing his job, he will be well taken care of. He'll have enough money in the bank to survive and do very well for himself. That's the one part he said. I understand that. Then the second part he said was that Stephen A. Smith is saying that because that's what he truly believes. And I agree with him. I absolutely agree with him. That's why I was sitting up there chuckling when LeBron called out the media to, about them not asking him the question. And then Stephen A. Smith now started talking out of the other side of his mouth saying, well, and I was like, bro, this, no wonder he wants to run for office. This is what politicians do. Whatever side is winning, that's the side they're on. Whatever direction the wind is blowing, that's the direction that they're, that's the direction that they're flowing in. Now, to a point that Vlad made, which was he would have liked Jerry Jones to address it directly, say this, say that, say this, say that, say this, say they say all of these things. I think Vlad was looking at it from a very utopian perspective. Yeah, if everything was equal, yes. But the fact of the matter, and like I told some of our viewers in another show that we produced, Jerry Jones simply doesn't have to give you the answer that you want, no matter how much you demand it, because of the position that he's in society. And some people grasped that concept rather quickly, and others didn't. Jerry Jones has the most successful sports franchise in terms of net worth in the universe, right? The Dallas Cowboys are the number one. I believe they're worth $8 billion. That's the highest, right? They're America's team, right? They're America's team. So Jerry Jones understands that his product is still going to sell. The National Football League is the biggest sports league in the United States, and his team is the biggest draw. So Jerry Jones doesn't have to capitulate. And what I believe Jerry Jones also understands is that even if he doesn't put out a statement, he knows that the people that are here bemoaning, oh, why doesn't Jerry say this? He knows they're still going to watch Dallas Cowboy games. He knows that. I can almost guarantee you that a good amount of people that say, oh, Jerry Jones this, I'm done with I can almost guarantee you a good amount of them are still going to watch Dallas Cowboy games. He knows that. He knows that. And my final thought that we said in that show there was simply this. This is what happens when you are in a position of power, or you're going up against a person in a position of power. When you own things, when you control things, then you can make demands. And we said it in one of the shows. People kept on saying, boycott this, boycott that. That is fantastic. Talking about the spending power that we have, we're fully aware of that. But in order for that spending power to be put to use, two things need to happen. Number one, there needs to be a shift mentally. The things that we're transfixed on in terms of spending money are the wrong things. I know us. Everybody wants to look good. Everybody wants to impress the next guy. Buy things that have absolutely no value and spend money on things in communities that you don't own. This is the reality of the way it works. So number one, there needs to be a shift from that. Number two, if people are saying, okay, I'm not going to patronize this product, fantastic. What's the alternative? Who's coming up with the alternative? Until these things are addressed, we're just here talking. You know why? Because at the end of the day, if you say, hey, I'm not going to spend my money with this particular brand or whatever it is, guess what? You're going to spend it with some brand. The fact of the matter is, people may channel their money from one source to the next. And if you're just saying, I'm going to retain my money and keep it to my chest. Okay, you have your money. What are you doing with it? What are you investing with it? So it's a very complex, nuanced conversation. To me, what Vlad asked Jerry Jones to do would have been nice. Is he going to do it? No. Has he done it? No. Don't expect it to come. That's just the way it is.